I always fuck that word up.
No, you got it right.
What is the other word that I always mess up that we laugh about?
Egregious.
Erogenous, that's right.
Erogenous.
Uh,
Hey, look at that. Substack is working immediately today. I'm so pleased. I love how it turns on. I get in, there's already like 17 people here. That's how dedicated they are. They're in here before it even starts. That's dedication.
they love us. They
You
really
guys are the
love us.
best. Da, 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 da,
Like my shirt.
Hey, I know her. Isn't she dead?
I think so. Miss Ma'am should have left a lot sooner.
Yeah. I don't know. She should have.
Hindsight, you know?
That's okay. I'm really, really, really hoping that Thomas and Alito follow her example and refuse to quit. That'll be awesome. The last red shirt. What's up, last red shirt? I love your name. It's awesome.
Okay, let me pull up.
Back in the 90s, maybe it was the 80s. I don't remember. My mother worked in a lawyer's office, and they used to get joke faxes all the time because that was the thing back then. And she had the red shirt job application. Oh my god, it was the funniest thing ever. Like one of the jokes was, "You are assigned to a landing party with Captain Kirk, Mr. Spock, and Dr. McCoy. What do you do? A. Write home to mom and brag. Tell my friends how awesome it is. Fall into a fetal position and start weeping." It was amazing. It was just the funniest thing ever. The whole thing, the whole application was just brilliant. I have to see if I should go see if I can find it online. I'm sure someone's posted it somewheres.
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 Somewheres. That's how you can tell that he's from the Northeast. Somewheres.
Somewheres over the
Over the
rainbow.
rainbow. I would love to hear you sing that song.
I don't think anyone would love to hear me singing any song. Actually, there's only one song I can sing. It's one song from Pearl Jam because it's in a deep voice and I can do it well. Other than that, not a great singing voice.
Sorry
Hey,
about
you
the
go.
lighting today, guys. I am broadcasting from my parents' house and I'm in my son's bedroom there.
She's going full deep throat here.
So yeah, it's like we tried to mess with the lighting and backgrounds and everything, but I gave up. I ended up just being a floating head.
I mean, which was funny in and of itself, but the Mayday Network. Which one's the Mayday Network? I feel like I should know what that is. I feel like this is ringing a bell for me.
Yeah, sorry, we were recording like later in the afternoon and then we didn't see you, MX. And we were like, "Oh, let's go. We miss our morning crowd. Let's go back to the morning." We were just trying to see if we could get more viewers if we started a little bit later, but we did not. So
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna
That's
turn off my camera to take a drink really fast.
club, club, club.
I have to unmask myself. Oh, look, go Bills. Oh, aren't you guys so excited? Like football starts in September, so that's what
Yay.
you guys can't wait to hear me talking about it.
Yay. All about that.
And we
Whoa.
play the Chiefs on Thanksgiving, and you don't know anything about football, so you won't understand this. But I don't even want to have Thanksgiving dinner with my family because I feel like I just need to be every time we play the Chiefs, I'm just silently watching the game, like and hoping for the best. And then we play on Christmas Day too. So we play the Broncos, Frederick's team on Christmas Day. I
You guys and your football stuff.
don't even think
Gosh.
Frederick as is as into it as I am.
I think he just likes making fun of you.
I think that yeah, I think that for him it's just like a
He just likes to mock you.
Yeah. Well, first of all, he got to mock me one time because that's how many times his team has beat us. Oh shit.
Uh,
Sorry, guys. Yikes. I know. Well, I can see your face. I feel like if you don't know me, you don't know who I am.
you don't know me.
You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Because there are pictures of me online with my glasses on too, and a mask. Actually, you could probably find me if you know, Julie Zionism.
Yeah, I tend not to read salty politics. I tend not to read newsletters that are similar to mine. You know, a lot of cursing, a lot of snark, because I don't want to start writing in their tone. I don't want to
Yeah.
get influenced. That's why I don't read Jeff Tiedrick. Like, I'm sure I would love it, but I don't want to start picking up um, similar writing ticks. You know,
Other
what's that?
I get that. I get that. The only newsletters I read are yours, and then I go to Wonket's website because I love Wonket.
Yeah, Wonket I'll read occasionally because they're so over the top that I can't like pick up any of their stuff. Like they
No, because
yeah.
their sense of humor is more like mine, less like yours.
Yeah, their humor is different enough from mine. But like Jeff Tiedrick and Roginski is in my wheelhouse, so I tend to avoid reading theirs. I don't want to start mimicking it by accident. So, which is annoying because the few times I've read them, I've really enjoyed it, but it's like I can't start doing that because it's too much of a risk of starting to copying it by accident, which is very frustrating at times because I know I would enjoy it, but it's like nope, nope, nope. I don't want to taint my own writing with someone else's. So
Sorry, I keep moving my camera.
yeah.
I feel that way, like, when I listen to Strict Scrutiny. I love Strict Scrutiny, but their sense of humor is exactly like mine is. Like, the funny jokes, like,
Yeah,
you
see,
start
that I'm not worried about. Like, I'm not worried about that because I won't remember it enough to use it myself.
like how I always go, "Thank you for your attention to this matter." I noticed that they do the same thing, and I was like, "Oh, that's so funny." The article today is, do do do. Okay, let me look at notes really fast, guys, while you're all chatting.
Chit chat, chit chat, chat chat chat. Oh, Christ. Yeah, we don't have it in today's notes, but is everyone excited that our white trash president is turning the White House into a white trash trailer park?
So I actually saw somebody commented this yesterday, and they said, "Oh, it's so funny how he needs a ballroom to stay safe, but he can do this outside."
Yeah, I mean it's completely exposed. There's no security. I mean, there's security. Obviously, it's on the White House grounds, but there's nothing keeping him safe. If someone wants to take a shot at him, he's not behind a wall. He's not behind bulletproof glass or anything. He's just going to be out in the open going, "Oh yeah, UFC. Oh my god. Oh, these are my people." It's like he's such a low class piece of white trash.
It is funny. He's like, it really is the white trash White House.
I mean, they really should just put like fucking trailers. They should just have trailer
Hey,
homes of
like, let's stop talking about trailers. I lived in a trailer for 12 years. Some of us live in trailers because it's cheaper.
trash. Yeah, but he does it because he likes the aesthetic. But they're just oh, God, I'm telling you, man, they're gonna open up a fucking meth lab underneath the fucking White House lawn. They're just ridiculous.
Well, I think it's so funny that Donald Trump Jr. got married over the weekend. And number one, I didn't even know it was happening until like Friday. So that shows you how in the loop I am. And number two, he didn't even bother going to his son's wedding. And um, apparently, from what I read from reports, uh, Junior's wife now she floated the idea of a White House wedding. And they just were like, nah.
Didn't one of Biden's grandkids have a White House?
Yeah, Hunter Biden's daughter, but also Donald Trump's daughter was married at the White House last year, or last time he was his last term. The one that we like, the one who's not as insufferable as the rest. I wouldn't say that we like her. The one that
Tiffany?
was, yeah, is that the one that was raised in California?
Yeah.
Yeah, by her liberal mother.
But yeah, and one of the reasons he didn't go is because the Bahamas will not allow convicted sex offenders into the Bahamas. I mean, they would have made it a accept them. They would have made a allowance for him because he's president, but still.
Convicted felons, my friend.
Oh yeah, sorry. Well, I mean, adjudicated rapist. Sorry.
Adjudicated rapist. There you go.
Hey.
Did
All
you
right.
have? You did have white people taco night.
Yes, we did.
Okay, I can't wait to hear about it. I was gonna ask you last night, but I was tired. Sorry again, guys, about the dark
Full
room.
vampire mode.
I'm still trying to figure out what this picture is right here. Not quite sure.
I can't make it out.
Me neither. And
Actually.
I'm looking at it.
Wait, move your head.
No idea.
Nope.
I don't know. I don't know.
No idea.
I asked him too. I said, "Hey, what's that?" He said, "I don't know."
It's abstract art. Yes, that's definitely what it is. It's an FBI sketch of the Unabomber.
No,
All right.
she might be talking about me. Let me put a hoodie on. Oh my god. Okay. No more jokes, guys. We have to be serious and start our show.
Who am I? The Unabomber or Mark Zuckerberg? All
Are you
right.
wearing a mask today?
No.
That's good. You sound all muffled when you wear one. Yeah, like the it sounds like when I put my earpods in because I get overstimulated at my mom's house, and I have like skull candy earbuds, but they work really good. They're very good at noise canceling. And then my mom will be shouting at me, and it sounds like the Charlie Brown teacher. And I said, "Mom, you literally have to touch me. I cannot hear you." Okay, let's get started, guys.
All right. Here we are, episode 99.
Oh my god, 99.
Wow. This is the Opinionated Ogre Podcast, your weekly rampage through current events with a little snark, a bit of foul language, and a lot of strong opinions. There are new episodes every Thursday, and they're not safe for work or polite company of any kind whatsoever. I am your podcast host, the Opinionated Ogre, and this is my co-host, Florida Woman, who's really, sincerely, deeply going to miss her best friend, Tulsi. Oh.
Yeah.
Hi.
Oh, sorry.
Hi, Florida Woman.
Hi. I actually forgot that she exists already.
Wow, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, I just don't even care. It's like, what a piece of shit. Goodbye.
Flush down the toilet of Trumpism, and that's the end of her.
I mean, what a terrible person, right?
I personally am looking forward to when they expose exactly how many state secrets she gave to the Russians, and they hang her for treason. So, but
I
that's
do think it's interesting that it seems only the women in the administration are getting fired.
Well, he's running out of those, so I mean, who's left? Linda McMahon, and I think that's it. And then they have to start firing the men. So,
yeah, I think only one man left, and I can't even remember who the fuck it was.
Womp womp. All right.
There you go. Whatever.
This is the recording for May 28th, 2026, and we have a lot to get to on episode 99. 99 of the Odd Pod. Whew. We ready to do this?
We are.
Awesome. Then let's get to it. It's time for the Ogre Nation News Update.
Roar.
Roar. All right. So we're back to this bullshit. Is the Iran war over or is it still going? We don't really know because the press refuses to do its goddamn job. Um, Trump regime says the deal's 95% done, which is, they only have to figure out whether or not they're going to get the Strait of Hormuz open and something about the nuclear stuff, which feels like a little bit more than 5% of the whole thing. Just a teeny tiny bit more than 5%. But they say it's almost done. And Iran immediately went out and said, the fuck it is. It is not almost done. So we're back to the whole, there's two different things going on. And the weird thing that's happening is there are literally, and I wrote about this on Substack, there's literally two competing narratives in the press right now. I keep seeing headlines and saying the war's over and the strait is opening. And then I see a bunch of other headlines. And mind you, these aren't like, all the legacy press is saying one thing and then Substack is saying something else. These are both headlines in the legacy press. One is saying the war's over, the strait's opening, and then there's a bunch of other new headlines in the legacy press saying war's not over, strait's still closed, they're not close to a deal. At the same time, which does not make any sense. How is there this much confusion? The bottom line here is the only thing that matters is whether or not there are between 150 to 200 ships a day moving through the Strait of Hormuz, because that's how many were moving through it before the war started. Right now, nothing's going through the Strait of Hormuz except the very few that Iran is taking payments from, except we're still blockading it. So really, nothing's going through. And if nothing's going through, there's no deal. And we're not finished with this war. And if that's the case, why is the press acting like stenographers and lying about it? What are they doing? All they have to do is look, are there ships going through? No, then it's not done. That's the story. It's not finished. The strait's not open. The oil's not flowing. Stop saying that it's done. It's a done deal. It's not finished. Now, we do have some details about what this supposed deal is going to be, and it's terrible. And Trump is foaming at the fucking mouth about the people reporting it, because how dare anyone say he's not making the best deal ever? It's an incredible deal. You don't know what you're talking about, except currently we're not getting the uranium, which, according to Trump, was the entire point of this war, was we're going to get the uranium. That's not why we did this in the first place. We were supposed to overthrow their government and put in a puppet regime, et cetera, et cetera. So that wasn't...
Instead, we got a younger, more radical person.
Exactly. Who's now going to want to build a bomb because he's really, really mad and he's much more radical. There is a possibility Iran is going to agree to down blend the uranium, which makes it less enriched. That makes it less capable of being used as a nuclear weapon. Okay, fine. Maybe we're going to get that. We don't know. And they're also offering, possibly, maybe, we don't know if this is true, but they're talking about suspending enrichment activities for 5 years. It's super important to remember there were no enrichment activities at all under the Obama deal, except for civilian use, right? They were allowed to enrich uranium for civilian use, which is light years away from military application.
But that was a bad deal. The black guy negotiated it.
Yep, it had Obama's name on it. Therefore, Trump ripped it up, and now here we are. We're also in talks, apparently, to release $25 billion in Iranian assets in return for reopening the Strait of Hormuz. And here's something that the press really doesn't want to spend a whole lot of time talking about. But back when Obama signed the original deal, he released $1.7 billion. And the right, including Trump, went absolutely fucking apeshit. And they screamed bloody murder about this for literally fucking years.
Trump still talks about it.
Yeah, it was the worst deal ever. It was terrible. Oh my God, they're funding terrorism, blah, blah, blah. Now we're talking about $25 billion. And I'm sorry, you have to help me with my math here, Florida woman. is 25 more or less than 1.7? I'm
I'm
not good at
MAGA.
math.
I
You have
can't
to help me out
math.
here. I can't do the math here. I feel like it might be more.
Sorry, math is woke.
Yeah, I don't know. So yes, that's right. Patrick Hanley reminds us it was pallets of cash. Obama was giving them pallets of cash, which is not how it worked, but it's what they were screaming for years on end. So now we're going to give them 25 billion back of their own money, and the Strait of Hormuz, they may or may not be imposing tolls. We still don't know. And they're still going to have the uranium, and they're only going to maybe suspend enrichment for activities for only 5 years. Now, the problem is we cannot get a good deal. And the reason we can't get a good deal is because we lost. We lost this war. We went in, we bombed the shit out of them, and that doesn't work. You cannot overthrow a country just by bombing it. And we were not prepared to send in an invasion force. So we lost. They closed the strait, and we were not prepared at all to keep the strait open because we have a military leader who's a moron, and we have a president who's even stupider. And for some reason, Netanyahu, who is not dumb, and his military, the Israeli military is not stupid. And for some reason, it did not occur to them that Iran was going to shut the Strait of Hormuz. I don't understand the thinking here. Everyone told them this was going to happen, and they didn't prepare for it, and then it happened, and therefore we have lost. And you don't get to set the terms when you lose. So here we are. Now, speaking of Israel, they are super fucking mad because they've been cut out of negotiations completely. Netanyahu wanted Iran destroyed, and instead, he's getting an Iran that's stronger than ever. And he was cut out because he does not want this war to end. And Trump doesn't want this war to keep going. The war is now a threat to him politically, which means if Netanyahu tries to continue his war, he's going to be a problem for Netanyahu. He will treat Netanyahu as a threat to himself. And that is not someplace that Netanyahu wants to be because Trump is extremely vindictive and he doesn't give a shit about Israel. Like, he doesn't care about the whole Israel's super important to the evangelicals. If it's a threat to Trump, Trump will do something. So, Netanyahu is not going to attack Iran directly, but he is having the Israeli military continue to attack Lebanon. They just started blowing stuff up again, killed like 30-something people, and Lebanon is a kind of client state of the Iranian government. So Iran's not going to be happy about that. They want all the fighting to stop in order to protect their client state. And this war in Lebanon is Israel's new front in their totally innocent effort to protect their country by seizing land as a buffer. If we have this zone between us and Hezbollah, it'll protect Israel. Except they're going to start building illegal settlements on that land that they seized as a buffer, and then man, they're just going to have to go in there and seize more land in order to protect those settlements because, well, that's Israelis now. There's Israelis there and they have to protect them. So that's Israeli land and they need more of a buffer, rinse, repeat. This is what they did in the West Bank. This is what they're doing in Gaza. It's obvious what they're doing. Everyone can tell what they're doing and they don't care because no one stops them. Now, Netanyahu could have waited until the mines were removed from the strait and ships were moving through it again. But he really does not want this war to end. If the war ends and Iran is in a stronger position than it was before, Netanyahu has a huge political problem, and he's probably going to die in prison as a result. This is his not subtle way of trying to sabotage the negotiations without directly attacking Iran. So I imagine Trump is not going to be happy about this, but we have to see what he's going to do about it. And in the meantime, the press is just going to keep pretending there's a war and there's not a war. Who knows?
I wonder at what point do we stop Israel from just stealing people's land?
We won't. We're just not going to. We won't do anything. Someone else may step in. We're not going to do anything at all.
It's just so crazy to me. Anyways, so last week we told you about the Trump regime creating a nearly $2 billion slush fund for insurrectionists. Well, a couple of days later, the DOJ started scrubbing its website of the press releases related to the January 6th insurrectionists. Now, I want to take you back in time. Let's travel back 6 years, right? We all remember when January 6th was happening. I mean, I remember it happening in real time.
Yep, we watched it on TV.
We literally
All of
watched
us.
it live. And in the days after, the Republican Party and people who were in Trump's circle started saying what?
Oh, it
Well,
was peaceful. It was a day of peace and
no.
love.
They said no. Republicans weren't attacking the Capitol. That was Antifa.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. That was their
Democrats
first
were
thing.
attacking it. That wasn't Republicans. They were dressed up. They were dressed up like us.
Yeah, it
It
was that
wasn't
and
us.
FBI plants. Or did that come
We didn't
later?
do it, right? And then a few months later, they started saying, "No, those were FBI plants." And they were riling up the crowd. The crowd was peaceful. They didn't have any intention of doing it, but the FBI plants were like, "Hey, let's do it." Like a child telling another child to start a fire. Light it on fire, Johnny. Go ahead.
Do it.
Your mom will never know. So we heard that narrative, right? And then the DOJ under Biden started locking people the fuck up. And suddenly the narrative switched, right? Oh, they weren't, it wasn't Antifa after all. These were Trump supporters, and they were just taking a peaceful tour through the Capitol building, pissing on the walls and destroying things,
Wiping shit all over the place. Yeah.
stealing pieces of Nancy Pelosi's podium, threatening lawmakers, and the lady who died, I don't care what her name is. We don't have to talk about her. She was killed. She was killed by police officers who were what did they say that they were doing? Excessive force. They were using excessive force and they killed her. She
She
didn't
should have
deserve to die.
complied.
She she
She
she
was a
was
terrorist and she
peaceful.
should have complied.
She was peaceful as she was smashing out the window and climbing it through to try to get to lawmakers, right? So the narrative that these people were Antifa and Democrats was gone. Now all of a sudden they're political prisoners. They were releasing songs where they were singing, as a whole. There's actually a January 6th band. And then Trump started saying, "Oh, we have to protect them. I'm going to pardon you guys." And I'll be honest, when he said that he was going to pardon them, I was like, there's no way in the world he's going to pardon these motherfuckers. Because Trump will say a lot of shit to get elected. As Marshawn Lynch, a football player, said, that motherfucker says a lot of things. And then he pardoned them. And then all of a sudden, everybody started playing into the narrative that it wasn't as big a deal as it was. The media even started downplaying it, even to this day. And it's like we were living in a twilight zone. Like, hey guys, did we not see these people attacking the Capitol building and beating police officers with American flagpoles or flagpoles with American flags flying from them? And now, they've been pardoned. They've been given a $2 billion slush fund, which I'll be honest, I'm not even sure any of them are going to get. I'm like 90% sure it's just going to go to Trump and his family and friends.
Well, they're pretty convinced that they're going to be getting that money. Enrico Tarrio from the Proud Boys is like, oh, yeah, no, we're going to get that money. We're going to be buying weapons. We're going to be running for office. And it's like, okay. We'll
Well,
see.
that's disturbing.
Mm.
I feel like it's just going to go to Trump and his family members, whatever. Now the DOJ is scrubbing the website, and it reminds me of the way that the United States treated the Confederacy. You know what I always say? If we had just hung those motherfuckers, this wouldn't be happening today. If we had just hung the Confederates, this wouldn't be happening today. So when the DOJ was asked about its decision to scrub the website of all evidence of these motherfuckers attacking our country, it responded with a statement saying, "We are proud to reverse the DOJ's weaponization under the Biden administration. We will do everything in our power to make whole those who were persecuted for political purposes. This includes stripping DOJ's website of partisan propaganda." So since when were press releases about arrests and convictions partisan? And remember, these people weren't convicted by Biden's DOJ. They were convicted by juries of their peers.
Malicious prosecution, blah, 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 blah. It's like, yes, I know. It's like, it's almost like we have video of you smashing a cop in the face with a flagpole.
Right.
Weird.
Or
How did you get convicted? I don't understand
smashing
it.
them into doors while they screamed for their life. I actually have never, the January 6th thing really just, I've never been uber patriotic. But when I saw people attacking our Capitol, I have never been more disgusted in my life. Well, that's not true.
Well,
That's
the
not
thing
true.
I kept asking, it's like, why isn't someone shooting them? Why aren't they being shot? Why aren't they being? That's all. That's the thing. I just kept
Oh
asking
no,
over and
I
over. It's
kept
like
saying that too because remember that huge show of force that the Capitol Police had when the
the Black Lives
Black
Matter
Lives Matter
protest.
protesters came out,
Yep.
right? And then all of a sudden they were like letting these people run them over.
It's like, why aren't they being shot? Where's the
When they
National Guard? Why aren't they being killed?
Right, when they started beating police officers with the poles and whatever, they were hitting them with all kinds of things that they could find. Yeah, why weren't they shot? The only one that was shot was the one that crawled through the window. It was bizarre to me. And just watching people rewrite it and watching the press let it happen. Sure, they'll publish articles like this one about the DOJ scrubbing their website, but do you hear the press like grilling them during the daily briefing or when they get Republican lawmakers out in the hallway? Do you hear this happening? No.
Well, what's
There's
going to
just
be
like,
impressive is on January 20th, 2029, when the Department of Justice starts putting this stuff back, Republicans going to scream, right, about how it's weaponizing, it's weaponizing. Oh, we're under attack. Oh, they're distorting history, and the press is going to start saying, "Well, I mean, who's to say what really happened?"
that's the thing. It
That's what
already
they're going
feels
to do.
like they're doing that. And like I said, it's so much like it's so much like the Civil War and the Confederacy and how generations of Americans after the Civil War learned in school that it was like a states' right issue and
Well, the
not
lost
a
cause.
slavery
It was
issue.
just it was just the lost cause. They made up this entire lie about the lost cause, and
Yeah.
now they're going to be doing that here. It's the new lost cause, and the press is absolutely going to help them do it.
Ugh,
This is going to be
disgusting.
generations of people taught that January 6th was nothing about, like, everything you see about January 6th is a lie made up by the left and blah, blah, blah. And, and TV saying it here, it's the Ministry of Truth, right? It's all 1984. And I'm in the middle of reading that right now
That's
for the
so
first
funny.
time.
My son read it last year. I said, "How did you like the ending?" He goes, "It wasn't good."
No, and it is. I mean, I know the story and I know how it ends, but this is, I mean, I'm reading it and I'm like, this is literally Fox News. What I'm reading is literally the Fox News
Yeah.
audience. There's like an entire paragraph explaining how, people, they'll be told one thing one day, they'll be told something else the next day, and they will absolutely believe it because they're just mindless drones. And it's like, that's the Fox News audience. That's who these people are. They will believe anything they're told as long as they're told to it by the party. And I'm like, that's 72 million Americans. That's the Republican Party.
I have talked about this, a lot of times. My previous job, was a company that had conservative websites. So they had conservative and nonpartisan websites. So in the chat, it was the people who wrote for all of the websites, right? When January 6th was happening, I was working. And we were in the chat as it was happening live, going, "What the fuck?" Even the conservatives were like, "Hey, what are they doing? They're destroying it." And then watching them in the days after suddenly switch the narrative and talk about how it was Antifa, how it was Democrats, how it was all this and that was crazy. It was just like during COVID when we were writing articles about how everybody needed to spray their stuff down. And then as the right wing media sphere started talking about, personal rights and yada, 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 we were explicitly told we weren't even allowed to use the word COVID anymore. To watch them just switch the narrative was insane.
Absolute fucking just straight up propaganda. All right. Let us move on because we do truly live in the stupidest timeline. We are back to demonizing immigrants instead of taking responsibility for the massive funding cuts thanks to Doge and Elon Musk and all the other morons that are just gutting our healthcare infrastructure. So, if you're not already aware of it, there is a massive Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo. This is one of the countries that frequently gets hit by Ebola. And once upon a time, we, the United States, would send in specialists. We would send them swarming there to help out. We didn't do this out of the goodness of our heart. We did this because if diseases spread in other parts of the world, they have a habit of getting back to us. So if we stop it over there, we keep it from getting back here, which is in everybody's best interest. Also, it helps from keeping other countries from getting destabilized, which causes problems for surrounding countries, which causes instability, and also tends to send refugees streaming in our direction. Right? It's investing a very tiny amount of money, relatively speaking, and saving us huge headaches down the road.
Right. Because listen, it's no longer the 1700s where people had to travel 60 days on a boat to get here. We have planes. Migration is much easier.
Right. Someone could get sick and, if they get sick, if they get infected and it doesn't show up for a week, they can be here for 5 days before they even know they've been infected. And that's a problem. So we send people to help with this sort of thing. Now, the BBC is reporting that right now the Congo has over 900 cases, which means it's way higher because again, we don't have the Congo has terrible infrastructure for this sort of thing, and we're not helping very well or at all. And
At
they have
all.
over 200 deaths. Now, this was as of a couple of weeks ago. So the number is way, way higher, and no one else can step in and do what we used to do. Like other countries have their own versions of the CDC, but no one was as good as we were. So the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, under Trump, responded by issuing a ruling on Friday preventing people who travel to the Congo, South Sudan, and Uganda from entering the U.S. through mid-June. That includes lawful permanent residents, aka green card holders. So the regime is once again demonizing immigrants. And reports have indicated that the cuts to USAID made the outbreak worse and have screwed up our response to it.
No.
I know. Who would have thought? So this is from CNN. The Trump administration's cuts are four-pronged. It withdrew funding from the World Health Organization, dissolved the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, made cutbacks at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, and is in the progress of reducing the total health aid it gives to the DRC and Uganda, the countries at the center of the epidemic. All of those moves have weakened global health systems that are vital for effective responses to outbreaks like this. Remember, this was pennies, pennies that we were spending in order to keep shit like this from getting out of hand. And the last time there was a major Ebola outbreak, it did manage to get back here. We
Mm-hmm.
kept it, and the right absolutely lost their fucking minds, and they were screaming at Obama. Obama's stop. Oh my God, why is he letting Ebola spread? It was like 3 people, and it didn't get anywhere because we had a professional CDC in place to keep that from happening. If it gets loose in the United States, our healthcare organizations are so crippled, they're not going to be able to stop it right now. Ebola doesn't spread easily, but it does spread. And we have gutted the infrastructure to track these things. So if it really gets loose, it's going to be a problem. And we've done everything possible to make sure that it can spread because that's what we do now as a country. Because why would we spend the money to help other countries? It's like it's not about helping other countries. It's about helping us by making sure they can keep it under control over there. It's the most self-defeating way of going about international aid because they want people in other countries to die because they think our borders are these walls, impenetrable walls. I'm like, no, it's not. That diseases don't give a shit about your borders. Do you think they would have learned this after fucking COVID? But they don't. They're incapable of learning anything, and they want people to die because they're monsters and a fucking death cult. So,
Well, since the US appears to love the outbreaks of communicable diseases, RFK Jr. decided to withhold $600 million in US funding from Gavi, an international relief group that distributes vaccines to poor countries. Now, RFK Jr.'s problem with Gavi, other than he thinks it's super liberal,
it's
is
woke.
that they were giving out vaccines that contained thimerosal, which is a preservative that stops like mold and or bacteria and fungi from growing in the vaccinations.
Oh, I didn't think anyone still used that. I thought they got rid of that in all vaccines by now.
No. So some of the vaccines that we send overseas, and very few of them in the United States, we still have that in there. Well, Secretary Whaleblood believes that it causes autism, even though there's no proof of it.
And we're not talking the little bit of proof or it's unproven. There's no proof. Everything they've done, every study they've done, and been like, no, this doesn't actually do anything. This doesn't cause autism at all. But they'll never let it go because
No.
they have to believe that it causes autism.
Yeah, you know, those autistic kids. So scary. So Gavi is now phasing out vaccines that contain thimerosal, and because they currently have it in vaccines that prevent meningococcal I knew I was gonna fuck it up.
Well,
Meningococcal meningitis.
at least it's not erogenous.
That's true. A whooping cough, diphtheria, tetanus, hepatitis B, and other illnesses. And they plan to move to a 6-in-1 shot that doesn't contain the preservatives. The organization hopes that they're going to be able to convince Secretary Toilet Seat Cocaine that if they do this, that they should receive the funding. But I have absolutely no faith that he's going to release the funding at all because, again, they do not care what these organizations are doing to change their policies because their policies are based on, or RFK Jr.'s policies are based on no science. He doesn't believe in science.
And he doesn't believe in vaccines because he doesn't believe in viruses.
Right.
He's a lunatic.
So this organization is making expensive changes, and probably nothing's going to happen because we live in the stupidest timeline.
Now, speaking of Secretary Jeans, he's moved ahead. He's moved ahead with the firing of two of the leaders of the Preventative Services Task Force, because of course he did. The task force, which is made up of 16 volunteer members, they decide which preventative services insurance must cover, like diabetes and cancer screenings, HIV prevention, the things that keep people alive. The fire chair members are panel chair Dr. John Wong and vice chair Dr. Issa Davis. And Secretary Snake Wranglers meddling has delayed updates to screening guidelines for heart disease, cancer, autism. And he's doing this because he wants to put people in place who are going to roll back the preventative services that have to be covered by insurance, because he doesn't want those services covered. He wants people to have to pay for them, which means less people will get them, and then more people will die. Because at his core, RFK Jr. and most of the Trump regime, and we've talked about this numerous times, they're eugenicists. They believe in, if you get sick, well, you deserve it and you should die. Because
we heard that during COVID.
Yep. They just think it's like, if you get sick and you don't survive, then that's fine because you aren't worthy of living. The strong survive, the healthy survive, and the rest, they're an acceptable sacrifice to improve the American man. Urgh. So, death cult. Straight up fucking death cult.
And more proof that we live in the stupidest time.
Stupidest of stupidest timelines.
Stupidest. Well, on to headlines for short attention spans. Hold on. I gotta scroll down. Well, if you thought Iran or Iran was bad, the regime continues to manufacture fake justifications for invading Cuba. Last week, it was the Cuban drone crisis, when really they were just maybe collecting drones to protect themselves.
Yeah, because 300 of them is definitely going to launch an all-out assault on the United States. We'll be overwhelmed with 300 drones. How will we? Oh my God!
Gonna destroy Key West. This week, the Chinese and Russian spies are in Cuba, spying on us. This is from the Wall Street Journal. China and Russia in recent years expanded their intelligence operations in Cuba, investing in electronic eavesdropping facilities used to spy on U.S. military sites in Florida, and roughly tripling the number of intelligence personnel to staff them since 2023, according to officials familiar with U.S. intelligence assessments. The findings suggest that Beijing and Moscow see their separate posts as increasingly vital to their espionage capabilities, adding more up-to-date equipment within listening range of 2 U.S. military headquarters, overseeing operations in the Middle East and Latin America. I've talked about this before. Tampa has CENTCOM.
Right.
And Tampa is not that, like, it's like 4 hours away from Miami. It's not that far away from Cuba, to be honest with you. I could probably be there tomorrow. But this has always happened. So it's super weird that they've decided, like, this is a thing that we need to be concerned about, like, right now. Oh, sorry guys, I'm itchy. I'm having, like, a moment. I almost feel like I should be taking ADHD meds because I'm so twitchy. You would think that I was, like, doing meth or something before we started.
I mean, you do live in Florida, so.
That's true. But we haven't heard about any of this until right now. And it wasn't a pressing issue until, well, right now. And both Russia and China only decided that Cuba was a critical espionage hub right now.
Hmm.
It's
Why? So
it's
weird.
it's almost like there's a reason why they're trying to convince us that Cuba is super, super dangerous with their 1960s cars and 300 drones.
And now it's crawling with foreign spies. We have to do something. We just have to.
They're gonna get us.
Yeah, no, we're definitely Cuba is the greatest national security risk in
Of all time.
history. Oh yeah, no. There's no way we can just let it sit there without being bombed. We have to do something.
Yeah, I mean, it's been there for, when was the Cuban Missile Crisis? 40,
1960s?
50, 60,
No, it was the
70 years ago?
60s.
Yeah, so what, like 60 years ago?
Yep.
My mom's gonna kill me. Forgot. Yeah, so now suddenly they're super threatening when Fidel Castro is gone and Raul Castro is also gone.
I mean, he's like 90 years old, and God damn it, we have to arrest him. And if we don't
Yeah,
arrest him,
he's
we're gonna
gonna
have to
get us.
invade Cuba so we can arrest him.
And he's really the one that's controlling the Democrats in this country. I don't know if you've heard that.
Oh God, are you kidding me? Is
Or
that something they're actually coming up with?
no, they said it was Hugo Chavez, the dead guy.
Yes,
It
right.
would
Oh,
actually be it would be more believable if it was Fidel Castro. Anywho, the regime did in fact learn something from Iran. You have to invent a reason to invade the country, and that's exactly what they're doing, obviously. They're just really, really bad at it, probably because half of the regime is drunk. So, what's next? Cuba is going to be a huge source of fentanyl.
hey, don't knock that Cuban fentanyl. It's supposed to be some of the best shit out there.
I hear they put it in their cigars. I'm really screwed because Tampa is where all of the Cubans live and where CENTCOM is, so I should just move, I guess. We're gonna have they're gonna start telling us that there's Cuban sleeper cells and that they're putting bombs in the Ybor chickens. Islamic terrorists are using Cuba as a staging ground.
uh, Clearly, they're smuggling the explosives into cigars, the exploding cigars. Where do you think
Yeah,
those come from?
I know it's gonna be terrible. And what is Cuba is an actual it is actually a secret base for the global pedophilia cabal, and they probably I bet you that's where the mole children originate.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they just tunnel under the ground to get to the United States. That's it.
Yeah,
That
right.
explains it.
They're using the Gulf of America. They're using the Gulf of America to come over here and infiltrate the country with their exploding cigars and their Ybor chickens, which those of you who have never been to Tampa, there's chickens running all over the place, and they've been here for I don't know, like 100 years or something.
Are they terrorist chickens?
Yeah, they're terrorist chickens. Buck, buck, boom.
All right. Let's move on. Trump is heading back to Walter Reed for his third annual medical and dental checkup in 13 months.
So
I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure everything's fine. He said his medical checkup was absolutely perfect. Now, it's important to remember that the press went to absolute war against both Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton for even hinting at health issues. Meanwhile, Trump has swollen ankles, constant bruising on his hands. He frequently disappears for days at a time. He has a weird limp. He can't stay awake. He slurs his speech. He shows every single sign of advanced dementia. And it's obvious the White House is lying about the reasons for his frequent CT scans and doctor visits. And yet, there's some pushback from the press, but nothing like the crusade that we got for Biden and Clinton. I mean, Clinton got pneumonia, and there was
fell
like,
down.
yeah, and there was like 100 articles about how, oh my God, she's too old to be president.
And she's too weak. That's
Yeah.
why we can't elect women.
Now, and this brings us right back to what we always say: Republicans are not held to a lower standard. They're held to no
No
standard at
standard at
all.
all. Yep, we're just living in the stupidest timeline. So Trump's numbers are still in a free fall. We talked about this last week. Um, fuck, fuck, boom. But it's not just the average American Democrat who hates him or independent. Republicans are starting to turn on this guy too. This is from the Wall Street Journal. Trump's approval numbers are sinking headed into the midterms. A new Wall Street Journal poll found that Trump's job approval is at 41%, with 57% disapproving, down from 45% approval in January. In a troubling sign for the White House, the survey showed that the share of Republicans who say they strongly approve of Trump's job performance has dropped from 75% in January to 57% in May.
Oof. That is fucking
That
brutal.
is real bad. I wonder if the $4.60 gas has anything to do with that. Yes, he's home. Sit
One can
down.
only wonder.
My dog heard my dad come home and he's like, is grandpa home? Um the poll also found Democrats leading Republicans 48 to 40% in a congressional ballot measure. Oh, in a congressional ballot measuring which party is favored to lead the next Congress. Oh, I read that all fucked up. I'm gonna do that again
Yep.
because
Go for it.
my dog was distracting me. It's definitely not my brain. The poll also found Democrats leading Republicans 48 to 40% in a congressional ballot measuring which party is favored to lead the next Congress. That's good news for us.
And that's a low one. Like I've seen much higher numbers than that. I've seen numbers as high as like 12 to 15% in the
Yeah,
generic congressional ballot.
and this is really important because when you start getting into double digit numbers, that makes red districts that they thought were super safe red districts suddenly come into play.
Like the ones they made in Texas and Florida.
Yes, those two. But even the ones that they didn't mess with in states where he got, 13%, and everybody's like, oh, he's never going to lose those seats. Republicans are so safe. And then, talking about how they watered down the seats, that makes it even more rough for them.
I mean, that's what happened to them in 2018. That blue wave came and just swept them out in places. They were like, what the fuck? How did we lose seats here? We don't lose seats here. And
No, for
that's
sure. And it's very reminiscent, and I don't know if the press is pointing it out because, to be honest with you, I don't pay attention to them anymore. But it's kind of reminiscent of what happened to us in 2010 when those motherfucking Tea Partiers came through and we lost all those seats. Like it feels more like 2010 than it does 2018.
the difference, of course, is that in 2010, the press was super excited about the red wave and was like, oh my God, it's amazing, blah, 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 blah. And after 2018, the press was like, oh, this wasn't a blue wave. We don't know what you're talking about. And they spent weeks insisting it wasn't a blue wave, even as the numbers kept racking up. And we ended up taking 40 seats, 40 something seats, which was the most Republicans had lost since the 1960s. I believe it was. I think it was since Nixon. They hadn't
Right.
lost that many seats, and the press literally spent weeks insisting it was not a blue wave.
No, and as we've seen, we every time we hold a No Kings protest, we get more people coming out, right? Now, during 2010, when there was like a Tea Party parade that had 15 people in it, it got wall to wall press coverage. But somehow, like our massive No Kings protests are being ignored. So
One wonders why they're doing that.
it's almost like they're biased.
No.
Oh, speaking of the biased press, the New York fucking Times is also reporting that 61% of Americans have had to change their grocery shopping in response to rising prices. I've seen a lot of this in the mom groups. People are going to multiple stores now, which, they think they're saving money, but really when your gas is $4.50, you might as well buy everything at fucking Publix. Um And as we keep pointing out, we have not reached the oil shock yet and the really nasty stuff. Remember, before the oil prices started to rise, we were warning about the increase in prices because of the tariffs. Because companies had stockpiled before the tariffs, and they were predicting that they were going to be running out of stuff, and they were going to have to start increasing their prices. And now,
Sometime in the summer, and
yep,
here
and
we
now,
are.
right, and we're seeing the prices go up. I would argue that the prices that we're seeing increase now are from the tariffs. They're not even from the oil.
Yeah, because that still hasn't hit yet.
Right. So, now we're going to see a combination of the oil shock and the tariff prices, and it is going to fuck people. Now, it would be awesome if nothing happened. We'd be very happy about that because we don't particularly like being the doom and gloom podcast. But the reality is that there are a lot of people on the margins who would not be pushed into food insecurity if we were wrong, but we don't think that we can avoid it at this point. You know, there's going to be people who are not really hurt by this. Um, you might not be hurt as much as I would be, for example. But
Right.
there's going to be a lot of people who are just absolutely fucked. I mean, right now, paying $4.50 for gas is killing me, especially with jobs. Let me just say that I, like people who work in the gig economy, like I will do Instacart to make extra money because I'm a full time mom. And I'm not doing that anymore because who's driving around for
Right.
with $4.50 a gallon?
It's not worth the money.
Your girl is staying home. So, with inflation continuing to rise, people are going to be furious at Trump. And that 57% strongly approve. Oh, sorry. Fuck. Today. I don't know what's going on with my brain. When inflation continues to rise, people are going to be absolutely furious at Trump, and that 57% strongly approve is going to drop to the Sarah Palin floor of 37% by fall.
Now,
So,
yeah, normally this would be in the good news section, right? Because Trump's numbers are plummeting and they're getting worse. But the economic pain that's coming really is going to hurt a shit ton of people. And it's hard to get excited about that, regardless of how much damage it's going to do to the regime. There's a lot of people, especially on the far left, who want things to collapse. They, this is an ideology called accelerationism. If you're not familiar with it, it's kind of exactly what it sounds like. They want to make things worse, so when everything falls apart and everything's burning to the ground, they can rebuild from the ashes, and their incredible utopia will come from the ashes. The far
yeah.
right, what's that?
Yeah, I mean, there are those people. Then there's people who are petty like me, who've seen what they're doing to the immigrants in this country and are like, I want you guys to all suffer and I'm going to suffer with you.
Right, but that's different than accelerationism. Accelerationism, like there's you fucking you set it all on fire. Okay, well, I'm gonna watch you fucking burn. You did it to yourself. Don't ask me to feel bad for you. But then there's the people who want actively things to get worse, and this is the far left and the far right. You will see this a lot. They actively want things to get worse. So when it all gets destroyed, they can rebuild from the ashes and get back to everything. They can rebuild it the way they see fit. And
Yeah, well, that's why a lot of them voted for Trump to begin with because they said he's going to burn it all down and then we can rebuild.
right, and that is a bankrupt ideology. Like the far right wants it because they see this country, it's too liberal, it's too woke, and they have to destroy it so they can rebuild their white nationalist paradise. From the left,
Sorry, guys.
from the left, their whole thing is the country needs to be more liberal, right? The country needs to be more progressive. The only way to do that is to pull down the bankrupt, the corrupt duopoly, blah, 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 right? What they really want is everything to be more white and male centric. They won't say that, But that's what they're talking about. They don't really, they're motivated by the same type of white male grievance. But from the left, the idea of accelerationism is the most bankrupt fucking ideology because you're willing to hurt tens of millions of people in the hope that you're going to be able to build something better from it. And if you're willing to hurt tens of millions of people to get what you want, you're not a progressive. You're a selfish piece of shit. And this is why I hate these people with the fucking power of 1,000 exploding stars, because they are always, always, always people who are going to be safe. They're not the ones living on the margin. They're not the ones who are going to be out in the streets suffering. They're safe in their nice, white, comfortable middle class neighborhoods, and they don't believe they're going to feel the pain. They're more than comfortable watching everyone else. They're going to be, oh, more people are going to be homeless, more kids are going to be hungry. Man, that's your sacrifice is something I'm willing to make. And this is why I hate them so fucking much. We don't get excited about the economy collapsing because people will die from this. They do. So fuck them. Speaking of the economy, something to keep an eye on. Trump now has his hand-picked chairman of the Federal Reserve at long last. And that is almost certainly going to mean very bad things for us. Trump had originally nominated the outgoing chairman, Jerome Powell, back in 2017 and almost immediately regretted his choice. Powell actually did his job as best he could, and that was not according to Trump's wishes. Trump's been trying to fire him for the last 16 months, but the Supreme Court said no, because they don't want their stocks to tank. Now, Trump has Kevin Warsh, and Trump has been very careful to only pick bootlicking toadies in this administration. And if Warsh obeys Trump instead of following sound economic theory, he's going to send us into a depression when the economy collapses later this year. Trump always wants interest rates cut because he thinks it's going to boost the economy. But that's the worst thing to do when inflation is running high. It's like a sugar high for the economy. It's an artificial boost. But when that runs out, everything is worse. Powell understood that. Trump doesn't. And a lot of authoritarian regimes have allowed their ignorant dictators to set monetary policy, and it always goes badly. Russia, Venezuela, Hungary, Argentina, Turkey. The list is pretty fucking extensive. And if Trump gets his way, we're going to join that list, and it's going to be very, very bad for us. So,
I mean, we saw this in the first Trump term. They cut interest rates to zero. It caused the economy to it did help the economy, but then suddenly the economy got too hot, inflation started increasing, and they're going to cut interest rates at a time when inflation is already increasing. So what do you think is going to happen?
Can't wait. Stagflation is on its way, except it'll be like stag hyperinflation. I don't even fucking know what that's going to look like. All right, let us wrap headlines up with some good news, because today is a glorious day for Florida woman, and I'm going to let her take it from here.
God, I was so excited about doing this segment beforehand, and then I just started thinking about how much I don't give a shit about Tulsi Gabbard anymore. And
now that she's gone, she's just gone.
Yeah, I just don't even have it in me to rant. Like, she was a horrible person. As you guys know, she left her position she's leaving her position as the head Russian spy. I mean, director of national intelligence, which, how did she get that job to begin with?
Because
we have no idea.
Putin told Trump to do it. That's how. The same thing with his first Secretary of State, Tillman. I forget his name.
Rex
Tillerson, something like that. He was put in place because Putin wanted him there, and his job was to gut
Yeah,
the State
Tillerson.
Department. He was there to destroy the State Department because that's what Putin wanted. That's the only, and he was a friend of Putin. He was a good buddy of Vladimir Putin, and his job was to destroy America's soft power. And that's what he did the entire time he was in the State Department. It was very impressive, and everyone just sat back and went, "Oh well, la 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 la. Look away. Don't
Yeah,
talk about it."
and Gabbard's whole term as DNI was kind of like she was standing over in the corner going, "Hey, hey, 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 look at me, look at me. Hey, daddy, daddy, look at me, look at me." Like she just didn't do anything. But at the very end, she failed to deliver Trump the cooked intelligence on Iran, and that's what did her in. She said that Iran wasn't building a nuclear weapon, and she wouldn't go along with his line about why he invaded the country, or I guess not technically invaded it, but invaded their airspace at the very least. And then she said that Iran could produce a nuclear weapon within weeks after she had already admitted the truth, but it was like too late. Everybody knew that she was lying. And then Trump cut her out of the loop. I I just don't. She's horrible. She's a horrible Democrat. She was a horrible DNI. We're all going to forget that she existed, and just like Rex Tillerson, we're not going to remember her name. I just don't
Yeah,
even feel
I
like we
don't
should have
know.
to get into it. Like
I,
she's
I feel I feel like after the Democrats take control, they're going to start digging around and looking to see how much information she transferred to Moscow. I
that is a
fully
concern.
Yeah, I fully expect they're going to find a paper trail, and they're going to want to pull her in. It's like, where did this go? How did this get? Why are you making copies of this information? And where did this information go? And I fully anticipate that there's going to be a very, very fucking deep probe of who she was talking to, why were you such in good close contact with Russians? Where is this information going to? And if she doesn't end up spending the rest of her life in a little jail cell or in front of a firing squad for treason, I would not be particularly surprised if that's what ended up happening, because she was fucking delivering them classified intelligence,
No, I
because
mean
that
we're
was her job.
talking. I mean we're talking about a person who had secret meetings with
Exactly.
dictators in Syria. And then Republicans were just like, yeah, let her in. She should definitely hold one of the highest
Well, there
positions.
was a bunch of Republicans who also the few remaining hawks were like, fuck no, but they still did it because Trump.
I yeah, I just, it's the funniest thing when this regime started, right? I was like really into like hating Gabbard. I mean, there's nobody who has pissed me off more, well, at the time, than her. You guys, if you've been listening to the show for a long time, you know.
Yeah, I remember you were
I have
foaming at the mouth over her.
one time I was ranting so badly about her that we had to stop and I had to just whew, and then restart. And we had to cut out my entire rant.
Yeah, I remember I had to edit that. I was like, yeah,
And
this is a
the
little too
editing.
much.
So I was like going and going and going and going. And I think that now that she's gone, it's just like, yeah, you messaged me and you were like, Gabbard's gone. And I think I put like audio shrugging emoji. I just don't even care anymore. Like, what a piece of shit.
All right. Now, here's some funny news out of Texas. If you have not been following what's been going on there, because Donald Trump is the dumbest motherfucker on the planet and cannot stop himself for seeking revenge over the pettiest shit. He helped Ken Paxton oust incumbent John Cornyn, and Cornyn lost by a huge number, 63-36. So he got
Yeah.
waxed, absolutely waxed in the runoff. Cornyn's sin was to criticize January 6th, and Trump never forgave him for this.
As you know, we're rewriting history.
Yep. So Ken Paxton is possibly the most corrupt politician in the country who is not currently sitting in the Oval Office. He's so bad, he was impeached by his own party in Texas. The House Republicans in Texas impeached him, but he wasn't convicted because the Senate GOP in Texas are just as corrupt and also fucking cowards. What's hilarious about this is James Tallarico, who is the Democratic nominee for Senate, is already leading Paxton in the polls, but he was not leading Cornyn. So picking Paxton over Cornyn is just strategic dumb fuckery. The general election is not going to go well for Paxton in a blue wave already mad about corruption. Like, Paxton is
Yeah.
not popular in Texas because he's a scumbag. Like, Republicans don't like him. He's corrupt. He's a piece of shit. He's sleazy. He's in the middle of a really ugly divorce.
Oh, it's a super contentious divorce.
Yeah, it's really ugly, and it's not on his wife's part. It's not like she did something. It was all on him. And he's going up against James Tallarico, who's, everything Republicans wish they were. Like,
Former teacher.
yeah, he's a real Christian and he's quite open about it. So this is not going to go well for him. Like, they're going to throw all sorts of shit at James Tallarico, and it's not going to stick very hard. But they're not even going to have to throw shit at Paxton. They're just going to say, yeah, this is Paxton's record. Like, he gave a fucking pedophile, I think, like 1 day in jail, that type of shit. So it's like, good luck with that. So the extra special sauce here that Charlotte Clymer pointed out, Cornyn would have been one of the most senior Republicans in the Senate in a few years. He was like the 4th or 5th most senior Republican, and being the most senior in your party, and if you control, even if you don't control Congress, or the Senate, you still get to deliver lots of goodies to your state because you get the really plum committee assignments. And Cornyn was about to be one of, if not the most senior Republican in the Senate. And that means in a few years, he would have been delivering a ton of shit for Texas. And now Texas isn't getting jack shit. They threw away a ton of perks and federal money because Trump told them to. And one final bonus: if Cornyn is feeling vengeful, he can join the YOLO caucus, along with Bill Cassidy, Mitch McConnell, and Tom Tillis, all who don't like Trump, and they're all leaving. So if they want, they can spend the rest of 2026 telling Trump to go fuck himself. Like that $1.8 billion slush fund? No. Money for that arch? Nah. The SAFE Act? Fuck off. And it depends on how vindictive they're feeling, but, one can always hope.
Yeah, it's just I really hope that Texas surprises me. Cause right now I'm like, these fucking people.
Oh, wait, what was it again? What Patrick Hanley says everyone loves Tallarico. He's got 6 genders. What was that thing? He said something and Trump's been screwing that up. Oh, that's right. Someone referred to Tallarico as cisgender, and Trump thought it said 6-gender, and he's been making that mistake ever since because he doesn't know what cisgender is, and now it's stuck in his head. So he keeps saying 6-gender because Trump's a moron and he's got dementia.
My son really likes James Tallarico. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I guarantee, I will bet you money that the alt left is going to spend every waking moment trying to.
Oh, they're already doing it.
They're going to try and drive a wedge between them, between James Tallarico and Jasmine Crockett.
Well, they already did that.
But now they're going to go forward and just going to keep trying.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just
because they don't want him to win, because they want us to not win the Senate, because that's their job.
Yeah, fuck those people. Well, in other good news, the human trafficking charges against Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Salvadoran immigrant who was wrongly deported back to the country where he was being protected from, finally had his case dismissed.
Isn't this like the
Remember,
fourth time?
yeah, but this is actually the criminal charges, not the deportation. That's ongoing because, of course, they're trying to deport him again. Now, remember, Kilmer Obrego Garcia became the face of Trump's immigration scheme. He was sent back to Seacot where he was tortured. You know, like we even had a congressman go down there. And then after he won that case, um, the Trump regime decided to press charges against him for human trafficking. They claimed that he was traveling back and forth from Maryland to Texas 3 times a week
With his kids.
with his kids, which is impossible. Impossible, as that Lemonhead guy says. Um, and U.S. District Judge Waverly Crenshaw of the Middle District of Tennessee, he was an Obama appointee, agreed. Like, it was bullshit. And he determined that the prosecution was, in fact, malicious.
What? No.
In his opinion, he wrote, quote, the objective evidence here shows that absent Abrego's successful lawsuit challenging his removal to El Salvador, the government would not have brought this prosecution. He also pointed out that the evidence in the case that the Justice Department said was new was, in fact, not new at all. And he said, instead of investigating the November 2022 traffic stop to identify who was responsible for the human smuggling, Trump's former personal attorney turned acting U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche started the investigation to implicate Abrego. Quote, he did so to justify the executive branch's decision to remove him to El Salvador. Yeah, that's exactly what they did.
Shocking.
As
Shocking.
as soon as he won that case and he was released from ICE custody, they decided to prosecute him. And they made up a case, and I would go as far as to say that they manufactured evidence because that's what it seemed like to me.
He should
It,
sue to see if he can get some of that $1.8 billion.
oh yeah, he could, but unfortunately, the uh, mandate for that says that it has to be persecution led by Democrats.
Yeah, a
So
judge should step in and be like, yeah, you can't do that. It's got has to be for anybody.
super weird. Because if that were the case, we have a whole lot of people over here that should be getting some of that money. Comey, who we hate, but we would love to see him do something. Letitia James. So the Trump regime has said that they're going to appeal this case, and they're still trying to deport Abrego Garcia to a third party country because, why not? This is America, right? Freedom.
They just have to.
These fucking people. Well, on to self care of the week. I'm sure that you guys are super excited that I'm no longer going to be the ones who are watching the video right now are excited that I won't be moving my camera around. Do you feel like you're on a cruise ship? Because it has been quite a ride over here. First of all, I started reading Give Us the Ballot, The Modern Struggle for Voting Rights in America by Ari Berman. Because I love a little light reading. Uh, it's a great comprehensive history of voting rights. I highly recommend it if that's your type of leisurely reading, like it is mine. I also began planning my family's summer trip to Western North Carolina. As you know, I am a big North Carolina girl. I love to go sit at a river and relax and watch my kid play. But this is the first time that we will be back since Hurricane Helene destroyed our favorite towns, Chimney Rock and Lake Lure. And actually, last night and the day before, they got more flooding over there because of rain. So there's like some damage in Bat Cave and around that area.
How is the lake doing? Is it still like a murky mess, or they managed to clean it up?
No, they actually cleaned it up and they rose it back up to the level that it's supposed to be.
Nice.
I'll be honest with you, I will not be going into the lake for a very long time
Gonna be a while.
because I just don't trust it, you know? I don't
Right.
know. As I get older, I get more crazy about germs. And I'm just like, how could they possibly have cleaned all of that out?
Big chlorine
So
tablets.
that's funny. You're a funny guy. So I will be up in the mountains, like in Pisgah National Forest, where it didn't, it's up higher, so nothing ran down into it. But I am excited to go back and see the town and spend money and visit all of our favorite places that have been rebuilt. We're actually going to go camping for a week because our youngest is really into survivalist stuff lately. It's really funny because he's 7 years old, but he loves the show Naked and Afraid. Loves it. Like he wants to make a fire and do all of the things. He wanted to go primitive camping, and I do know of places where you could literally just go up into the mountain and pitch a tent and go camping. But there's a 0% chance that I'm going to be pooping in the woods. I'm not one of the bears on a Charmin commercial. So I've opted for campgrounds where there's bathrooms and showers and laundry facilities. Each campsite has electricity and there's like a water pump and it looks really nice. I'm very excited. There's a little stream. It's an old fort, which is kind of by Asheville. We invited our oldest son to go because by then he'll have taken the MCAT again. He's taking it at the end of June. Wish him luck. Um, but when I was telling him about the sites having electricity and stuff like that, he said, quote, "Yeah, I have all those amenities here, so I guess I'll just stay home in my apartment." When we tried to bring him camping as a teenager, he told us, what did he say to us? My ancestors fought for hundreds of years to get out of the woods. It would be a disservice to them if I went back for fun. He was like 14, 15, 16 years old, something like that. And I just looked at him and I was like, okay, you can stay home for the weekend. He must have been 16 because I wouldn't have let him stay home.
I
But
wanted to take the kids camping when they were younger, but it's too risky with Jordan.
I
Like
know,
if he got up in the middle of the night and wandered out of the tent and wandered into the woods, by
I know.
Jordan.
I would just never. I totally agree with you. And autism loves water.
Exactly. But because I love camping. I went camping a whole bunch of times when I was a kid. I was in the Cub Scouts. We went camping, and my
Hey,
father used.
listen, if you want to leave Jordan with Deb and bring the girls over there, we'll be in a tent and there's bathrooms.
Oh no! At this point, like Lila would rather throw herself off of a cliff than go like out into the woods with bugs and stuff, and so would Anastasia. But when they were younger, like before they were like ew bugs ew, I could have gotten them and they would have loved it. But now, there's no way now. But I wanted to take them so badly when they were young enough to actually enjoy it.
Yeah,
But
we have actually been camping since Aiden or Nathan was born. He was like 18 months old, and we went camping in Fort DeSoto in St. Petersburg. And it was August, and I was like, what were we thinking? It is so hot. It is so hot. And my husband brought he has a, like one of those work trailers that you attach to your thing.
Mhm.
And he used plywood and he cut out a window and he put an AC in it. So he came with like a little house. And it
It's
was
like,
so funny.
you guys are out there, I'll be here, thanks, bye.
No, we all went into the thing and we had air conditioning and everything. It was so funny. But I was like, this isn't real camping. So we're excited about going in July. I'm really excited to go with Nathan because he doesn't remember all of our trips to North Carolina and we haven't been back since 2003 or 2023. So it's I think that it'll be really exciting to go play with him. There was one more thing I wanted to say when you were talking about the girls. Oh, okay, bugs. So the first time we ever went to North Carolina, just really quickly, Aiden was a teenager, Nathan was a baby. He was only like 6 months old. And we were driving through Asheville, like in the neighborhoods. We just wanted to look around to see what it was like because we'd never been there, right? So we're driving through Asheville, and all of a sudden I see like blinking lights, and I go, oh my God, they're fireflies. and I was so excited because I hadn't seen a firefly since I was a little kid, right? So I parked, I
Oh, they
get
don't have
out,
them in
and
Florida?
no, not down at
Oh.
where I live. It's too south, and so I get out and I'm playing with the fireflies and I go, Aiden, Aiden, come here, look at the fireflies, look. And he gets out of the car and he goes, cool bugs. And he went and got back in the car. And it was the most disappointing thing. I thought it, because when you're a kid, you think they're magical.
Yeah, fireflies. So I still love fireflies. They're awesome.
No, my kid was like, oh, cool, a bug. And he went and got back in the car. I was like, what the fuck? So we're excited. I'll tell you more about it after we go, and I'll tell you guys the campgrounds then. But I'm not gonna tell you when and where we're going now because stalkers be stalking.
All right. So we're recording this on Wednesday. It's going out on Thursday. But last night, Tuesday night, we did something we have not done in ages. We had White People Taco Tuesday. Anastasia asked about it, asked if we could do it, and Lila was super excited because they both love their white people tacos.
Listen, I'd love some white people tacos too.
Oh, hell yeah. We invited June to come to dinner with us, and she was thrilled because she also loves her some white people tacos, and she also has not had them in ages. So I cooked up 3.5 pounds of chopped meat, sliced up some lettuce and tomatoes, put out some Mexican blend cheese, salsa, sour cream, guacamole, and we dug in over at Claudia's. I also made an ungodly amount of banana pudding because that's Lila's favorite dessert, and Anastasia has taken quite a shine to it. And after that, we spent 2.5 hours playing Heads Up, which is something we do whenever we're together as a family. Like
What
we
is
get
heads up?
it's a game you can, like, we play it on a tablet, but you can also do it on your phone. Basically, you hold it up in front of you, the person who's doing it, you pick like from a whole deck, like there's a whole bunch of different decks. It's like 80s movies, um, Superman or Batman, or sing this song, or work it out. It's like different things, like different jobs. Um,
Right.
and you have to, it shows a word, and then everyone has to get you to say that word without saying the word. They have to
Oh,
give you,
it's like headbands where you put the little thing on top of.
yes. Oh yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's it. Yeah, it's like basically an electronic version of that. And they have anime, they have manga, they have like movies, cartoons, all these different things. They have like 6 different gay ones. They have drag queens. They have music.
That's
They have
cool.
movies from different eras. All these different categories. So we've been playing this for years. We play it for Christmas, we play it for New Year's, we play it on birthdays. We don't play it for no reason. We usually play it when, during holidays and stuff. But we all got together, we had dinner, and it was like, we're playing. And since June was there, that made me really happy because this is the first time we've had June with us playing this, because she's a fellow comic book nerd and no one else knows comic books except me. So I got to do some of the comic book ones, and I was like, yay. So that was great. She had a lot of fun playing with us, and it was a really nice family evening we all got to spend together before June and Lila zip off to college in August. And stuff like this is really important for family bonding and creating memories to carry forward. And it was really nice. And even if they don't remember the specific date or night, the feeling of being safe and loved and happy, that's going to stick with them forever. So it was really great
Absolutely.
that we all got to do this. And we're going to have at least one more taco night sometime in July, because August is super busy and then they're gone. So, yeah, boo. Anyway, a little bit of housekeeping. Next week is the 100th episode of the Og Pod, and it is the 86th episode of me and Florida Woman podcasting together.
Wow.
That's a lot of episodes. So, Florida Woman came onto the show in September of 2024, and I have not been able to get rid of her since. Anyway, to celebrate this occasion, we're going to give you a mid-year update on the 10 predictions we made back in or the beginning of 2026. That was our first episode of the year, and now it's going to be the middle of the year, so we're going to do an update. We're going to have some special guests on with Dana Dubois and Lawrence Winterman of the Daily Whatever. Now, Dana and Lawrence are West Coasters. Ugh. So we have to record after they're both done with work for the day. So next week's show is going to be super late. Specifically, we're doing it 8 p.m. next Wednesday, which sucks. But what are you going to do? It's the goddamn West Coast. Can't they just be on East Coast time like normal people? Whatever. Anyway, we will be on next week, next Wednesday. We're going to be recording at 8 p.m. our time. So come and join the fun. It's going to be awesome. It's our first like official guests. Like we've had a guest host, right? We've had Frederick on a bunch of times as a guest host to replace Florida Woman, but we haven't actually had guests on. So this is going to be our first time. It's going to be great. So tune in next week at 8 o'clock. Got it? Good. All right. That is it for today's show. The Opinionated Ogre podcast, like the newsletter, is free and 100% supported by you, our amazing audience. We have no advertisers or sponsors, so please consider becoming a paid subscriber for only $5 a month or just $50 a year. If you would prefer a one-time donation, we now have a PayPal button for your convenience. Help others join the Ogre Nation conversation by sharing the OgPod on the social media platform of your choice and giving us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening. You can find me at the Opinionated Ogres. Try that again. You can find me at the Opinionated Ogre on Substack, Blue Sky, and also on TikTok. Florida Woman, where can our beloved audience find you?
You can find me at Florida Woman Rants on Substack.
Awesome. There are 158 days left. That's all there is until the most important midterm elections in American history. And that time is going to fly by faster than you can possibly imagine. The Trump regime is preparing to invade Cuba because Trump is weak and desperate, and he needs a made-for-TV win. In November, we're going to show him just how fucking weak and desperate he is. Remember, you are never alone. Stay strong. We beat the fascists once, and we will fucking do it again. Adios.
Adios.
All right. That is
Sorry,
it for
I
everybody.
had to turn off my camera. I was dying with my mask on.
No problem. All right, everybody. See you guys next week. And
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Remember, 8 o'clock Eastern
excited.
Standard Time next Wednesday.
Yeah, we hope to see you all there to celebrate our 100th episode, which is so crazy, isn't it?
I know. Good Lordy. Wow.
Whew.
Long time.
All right.
You know, once we get past 100 episodes, we'll officially made it longer than the Daily Banter podcast.
Almost done. Huh. That's funny. Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.